It's been a very interesting 24 hours on YouTube. Yesterday, Steven Crowder was ultimately defended by YouTube. They said they weren't going to take his videos down in the wake of accusations levied against him from a Vox content creator named Carlos Maza, who accuses Crowder of being homophobic and consistently harassing him. And if you look at the content that Crowder puts out, truth of the matter is, yeah, it's borderline. It's very borderline. But YouTube chose to keep it up. And today they opted to more or less demonetize his channel, and that's it. And it's basically kicking off what a lot of people are calling the Vox Adpocalypse. Now, yesterday when I talked about YouTube defending Crowder, I said, make no mistake, that you would start seeing article after article after article about this from the left-leaning media that would essentially be calling for another adpocalypse, right? And they have their own motivations to do it. They want to make sure that they are the ones that are considered the top dogs, and independent content creators like myself and Crowder and others are definitely not perceived like that, that we are considered the enemy and we are the ones that are going after them. However, I wanted to run through everything going on today to the best of my ability and also talk about how what's going on with this Vox Adpocalypse is not necessarily Vox's fault. It's not something that Vox brought on. Is it something that was moved up to kind of go along with this? The answer to that is yeah, 100%. But let's jump into it here. So our key players in this particular situation are, like I said, Crowder and Carlos Maza. You can basically tell which one is which. And it all started yesterday when YouTube tweeted out this saying, hey, thanks again for taking the time to share all this information with us. And this, of course, is coming in response to Carlos accusing Crowder of homophobia and constant harassment for 2 years. They say here that everything is going to stay the same, that even though his comments are not something that they support, it is not a violation of the YouTube terms of service. And as a result of that, well, they updated it today by saying that they are, upon their continued review, they have suspended the channel's monetization. We came to this decision because a pattern of egregious actions has harmed the broader community and is against our YouTube partner programs. And they link to a new blog post titled Preventing Harm with the Broader YouTube Community. And that is something that I think a lot of people kind of expected to happen. But again, we're going to talk about the timeline here. And that brought about a whole bunch of different articles, like this one here from The Verge that says YouTube just banned supremacist content and thousands of channels are about to be removed. Now, you might be asking yourself, what does one have to do with the other? Well, they've been hinting at this for months, which is one of the reasons why I've been talking about the timetable being moved up. I assumed this situation was going to happen in the early days of August, which is what they've been talking about in regards to the next big change happening. Oftentimes when they do big updates, it's usually in April and in August. I don't know why. That's just kind of when they do it. And today they moved it up a little bit in order to, I think, deal with this particular situation. But they really did kick open a can of worms. They poured gasoline on an open flame, and it's pretty crazy. But this article here references a couple blog posts. And the first one here is the one that came out today. This is the creator blog post that says our ongoing work to tackle hate, saying today we're taking another step in our hate speech policy by specifically prohibiting videos alleging that a group is superior in order to justify discrimination, segregation, or exclusion based on qualities like age, gender, race, caste, kind of an odd one there, religion, sexual orientation, or veteran status. This would include, for example, videos that promote or glorify Nazi ideology, which is inherently discriminatory. Finally, we will remove content denying that well-documented violent events like the Holocaust or shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary took place. And they've been really bringing this up for a while, right? We know about Alex Jones being deplatformed last year. A lot of it had to do with the way he presented Sandy Hook information as being more of a hoax, the fact that people believed it, and that he was a large voice that was influential, and they wanted to curb fake news. Crowder isn't fake news. He's just a dickhead. There's a difference there. But even looking at this, they rolled this stuff out today. We see here a bunch of people tweeting out saying that they've been completely demonetized. Sinatra Says is a content creator who's a commentator. The Golden One, Revenge of the Sis. These are some of the people. Even my buddy Pimp Monk. My buddy Pimp Monk got hit. Pimp Monk he streams and he smokes cigarettes, and that's about it. He just hangs out. I don't know what Pimp Monk did, to be honest with you. To me, it's extremely egregious that this happened. And I hope that there is a policy in place or the ability in place for them to appeal this decision, because Pimp Monk is Pimp Monk. He hasn't done anything bad. Dude's cool. We're going to be bunking together at VidCon, and he's a good dude. I don't get it. I simply don't get it. Anyway, this came about from this. And the reason why I'm going back to this particular blog post from January 25th is because I want to show you guys how long they've been talking about this. So in this blog post titled "Continuing Our Work to Improve Recommendations," they say, "We'll continue that work this year, including taking a closer look at how we can reduce the spread of content that comes close to, but doesn't quite cross the line of violating our community guidelines. To that end, we'll begin reducing recommendations of borderline content and content that could misinform users in harmful ways, such as videos promoting a phony miracle cure for a serious illness, claiming the earth is flat, or making blatantly false claims about historic events like 9/11. And we also saw that, you know, Holocaust denial and Sandy Hook denial, the trutherism and those things are also what was brought up. So we can kind of get an idea as to the type of content YouTube is talking about here when they're making these changes, right? These broad sweeping changes that, again, like I said, the timetable was moved up because of the events from today. So Crowder tweeted out here a little bit ago, hashtag Vox Adpocalypse is trending number 5 in the US. We'll be going live and talk about it, right? Saying this is beyond politics now. This is a massive media corporations versus all of YouTube's independent creators. And again, not true. Not true. 100%. It's not true 100%. It's like mostly not true. Because as I showed you guys, we've seen that there's been a buildup to this for months. It just happened to kind of take place today. Now, he says it is trending number 5 in the US. I took a look at the trending tab, can't find it. Even went over to Trends 24, which pretty much documents everything. And at the time of taking this picture and recording this video, you can see that Vox Adpocalypse is nowhere on there, even though on Twitter, it is quite popular, which tells me that Twitter itself is suppressing the hashtag and suppressing more people from talking about this or seeing the spread of it outside of a basic area. You know, hey, what is it? Big tech protecting big tech, so to speak, right? Who owns Vox? Who owns Vox? Vox is owned by somebody. I know they just got a $200 million investment from Universal, NBC Universal. So there's, you know what I mean? There's Silicon Valley at play here is what I'm trying to say. And it does feel like they are protecting it. And it is something that should be talked about. But it does feel like there's a suppression there. Now, coming over here, and this is why I want to talk about like the last bastion of them hinting to this. And that, of course, comes from this blog post from April 30th. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because this goes into a video I put out last month about James Charles versus Toddy Westbrook. And this particular video or blog post, which was written by Susan Wojcicki herself, came out a few days before that situation went down. And I talked about this last month, saying there are going to be ramifications from this because of this post, because of the situation with James Charles and Toddy Westbrook. And here we are a little over a month later, and another big incident happens that just moves things along faster. And we all know YouTube never really reacts fast. And if they do, there's always a lot of problems with it. And a lot of little creators are caught up in this swell of nonsense that ends up really hurting them. Anyway, she says, and this is Susan Wojcicki, say, the following month we took this is coming after the Christchurch shooting involving bad actor videos on YouTube. Again, that's what they're kind of attacking here, are what they consider to be bad actor videos. So she says, we took an unprecedented action in the wake of Christchurch tragedy. Our teams immediately sprung into action to remove the volatile content. To counter the enormous volume of uploaded videos showing violent imagery, we chose to temporarily break some of our processes and features. That meant a number of videos that didn't actually violate community guidelines, including a small set of news and commentary, were swept up and kept off the platform until appealed by its owner and reinstated. But given the stakes, it was another trade-off that we felt was necessary. And with the devastating Sri Lankan attacks, our teams worked around the clocks to make sure we removed volatile content. In both cases, our systems triggered authoritative news and limited the spread of any hate and misinformation. So the reason why I bring this particular quote up is because we've seen this. Today was a mass sweeping, right? They moved up their timetable, they acted fast, and a lot of small people got caught up in the mix. And I do believe there will be a chance for them to, I'm hoping there's a chance for them to go out and appeal this. But anyway, the blog post goes on to say, These issues have also been top of mind for policymakers, press, brands, and advertisers, whom I met on recent trips to Washington and Asia. I updated them all on steps we've taken around responsibility and also praised the extraordinary talents and importance of our creator economy. You've helped drive remarkable transformation in the media landscape, where we've gone from a handful of broadcast networks to millions of channels that connect deeply with each person and each and every person. Your videos do not only touch lives, you've created new jobs and that generation of media companies, or the next generation of media companies, right? So again, what does this boil down to? This boils down to advertisers and brands and trying to make sure that the money is still flowing into YouTube by getting rid of it, of the unscrupulous content, or at least getting rid of the ability to monetize unscrupulous content. And that's effectively what happened today. They talked about this well over a month ago. I just don't think they were ready to act until a month, 2 months from now. And again, everything was just moved up. Now, finally, and this is what I want you guys to really pay attention to, and this is why I think it does kind of go into James Charles' situation a bit, because, well, she says, finally, I take it very seriously when creators share stories of experiencing harassment on the platform. While criticism from fellow creators may be constructive, any threats of or doxing crosses the line. Such behavior is already prohibited by our policies, but stay tuned as we will do more to discourage this from happening on the platform. And the number one way they're going to discourage it? By demonetizing it, by not just demonetizing the videos, but by outright demonetizing the channel. And by outright demonetizing the channel, they're cutting off the flow of income, and it's going to hopefully, well, in their mind, hopefully disincentivize these people from making this type of creator-on-creator harassment. And when I bring up this video here, you know, how James Charles scandal impacts YouTube, I talked about this a month ago, and I said the exact same thing, and this is what happened. This is exactly what happened. I called this shit. And the reason why is because, you know what? I pay attention to what the hell is going on YouTube, because this is my job, this is my career, and I want to make sure that I'm prepared and other people are prepared as well. And trust me, this channel, like 90% of the videos on it don't get monetized as it is anyway, because I cover what's happening in the world, and YouTube wants me to sanitize it even more, and it makes it hard to grow regardless of whatever situation anyone find themselves in if you cover the general news. So yeah, this is a situation that's going to be happening. And again, because it was creator on creator harassment, which is what led us to effectively this situation. And you can sit there and defend Crowder all you want. I'm not going to buy it. I'm sorry. Look, you cannot like Carlos's ideas. You cannot like his anything, but when it's the constant homophobic attacks and the constant saying, oh, he's a lispy gay Latino who got his job for Vox because he's a token, that goes beyond the marketplace of ideas, and it works its way into ad hominem, which is creator on creator harassment. And that's precisely what led to this particular situation. This dude, and look, I'm not agreeing with anything that's happened here, but I can absolutely positively understand why Carlos is doing what he's doing. He's doing it because he felt for years his voice wasn't being heard. And so he made his voice heard, and now he's got a megaphone. And as a result of that megaphone, he is continuously making bad choices because those bad choices are not resulting in the results that he wants. Rather than just going like, look, I wanted my voice heard, they're listening. No, he wants a scorched earth on Crowder. And it's going to take the rest of us down with him, which I don't agree with. I can empathize with his anger. I can empathize with why he's upset. I can empathize with everything he's going through. Look, I've been doxxed. I've been swatted. I've had people, you know, call me, people email me, email my girlfriend, try to find my family. I've been there. I've absolutely been there. I completely get where he's coming from. I completely get what he is feeling as a person. But what he's being motivated right now by anger, and what he still feels is YouTube unwillingness to listen. They're listening, but they're not telling him what he wants to hear. So he's going to burn us all down in the damn process. And that is the problem. That is an absolute problem. I empathize with this dude 100%. But this is not the way. This is not the way. All he wants to do is be heard, and he's not being heard in his mind in the way that's meaningful, and that's going to bite everyone in the ass. Where we go from here, I have literally no idea. It's not going to be as bad as last time in regards to the overall adpocalypse. You know, channels that have been demonetized, no, that's bad, and that's totally bad. For everyone else who's still active, it's not going to be as bad as last time. But they do want you to not swear as much and to not say as many bad things and to not Drama channels, I think, are going to get hit the worst, to be honest with you. I think drama channels are going to be 100% hit the worst. And they're going to crack down on that type of content like they did with Reply Girls, like they did with "you won't believe what happens when you click this link" type of clickbait channels. Like, that's where YouTube is going. And I bring up that last one because they have specifically mentioned that in blog posts. So you can see the type of content they're trying to weed out, and they're going to de-incentivize people by taking away their monetization. It's going to be an interesting last 6 months out of the year. And like I've said before, and I will say it again, if you are a content creator who can survive 2019, you should generally be okay. But it's going to require a lot of people to really change up how they do things, really change up how they approach things, their words that they use, their actions, and their language. And you may think that sucks. You may think that is terrible. And to that, I say it's the cost of doing business. If you don't like it, you can complain. That's great. Do that. Exercise your voice. They're not going to change their opinions because you're not an advertiser who's pumping money into the platform. They want you gone. And that's unfortunate. But you still have Twitch. You still have DLive. You still have alternatives. Arguably, probably DLive is your best bet because Twitch doesn't put up with half the crap YouTube does. That's where we're going. That's where we're going. We are going down that path because there are people out there who were bad actors long enough that caused this thing to happen. And that's a responsibility that falls on all of us for not calling it out sooner, for not pushing back on it sooner. It's not that YouTube doesn't create monsters. I don't believe that at all. There's lots of great people on this platform, both the creators and the viewers. There's a lot of great people out there. It's that there are bad actors that game the system and get the attention, and then they ruin it for everybody. Just like Carlos is ruining monetization for a lot of people because he feels like his voice isn't being heard based upon what he perceives as years of harassment. And if you look at what he experienced, there's no other word for it than harassment. It's not Crowder's fault. But that doesn't stop it from actually being a reality. And that is what a lot of us are going to have to ask ourselves. That's what a lot of us are going to have to actually deal with. That's what a lot of us are going to have to realize is where things are, and we're going to have to change for the future if we want to be on this platform. I'm being real because this is something I care about, something that I pay attention to, and something that I'm always reading up on. The Wild West of YouTube is done. It is. And they're going to make sure that the rest of you out there that feel that it's still like that know it. You can't fight progress. You can only adapt. And this is a situation where you have to adapt or you're going to die. And there's nothing in the world that's going to stop that from happening. Not a goddamn thing. Anyway, I leave it to your thoughts, your opinions. If you made it this far, I appreciate it. Let me know by leaving a like and typing YouTube into the chat. But I really want to hear your thoughts and your opinions. How did this make you feel? Good ideas can maybe help save a lot of people. So let's hear them. What's yours? I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.